And authorities plan to resume searching for laundry in that nature preserve in the morning. We're told that nothing of note was found today. Most of that search area is actually underwater.
And joining us now to talk a little bit more about this, give us her insight into that case, Washington Post correspondent Kim Bellware. There she is. Hello to you.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Okay, let's start with some of these reports that he may have been spotted near his Florida home, about 500 miles from his Florida home. What do we know from police on, one, the number of tips that are coming in and really the scope of their investigation?
Well, because this couple was documenting their cross-country travels on social media, this is really where the story has bubbled up first, really before it broke into the national news cycle. And so a lot of the tips are coming in there. People who have followed the couple, who maybe have been on the road at the same time, passed their van at national park sites the same time of them, have been, sending tips into the FBI, into local authorities, but also because, of how much attention this has drawn, it's also bringing in a flood of tips that aren't all that good. And investigators said that it's been pretty overwhelming at this point, but they are trying to get, just any leads they can, because this case has taken so many continual twists and turns. And right now, he's the person of interest. He's the witness they most want to talk to, because he, as far as investigators know, have maybe some answers for them.
Kim, the search of his home today and yesterday, investigators brought out a number of boxes. I know we don't know the contents of those boxes, but can you tell us the types of things that they would be attuned to? And also, his parents were briefly escorted out of the home and let back in. What do we know about their actions as of late?
Yeah, so my colleagues at the Post, we did get some information on that, and specifically what investigators were looking for when they went into the home. They went in, they took the parents out, they went into a van while they did some searching of the home, and then they let his parents back inside. And what they were looking for in particular, they were looking for hard drives, they were looking for journals, they were looking for really documentation that was going to have text messages, emails, maybe journal entries, anything that could speak to thoughts or conversations that he had in those final days when he last communicated with Gabby and maybe last saw her.
Okay, a couple of things that we know for sure today: that it was, in fact, Gabby Petito's body, that it's being called a homicide according to this autopsy. Is there anything that autopsy can help determine, or anything else that we can get from that report?
Well, sadly, the autopsy results do provide that confirmation to the family, which they already did suspect, but it does, give the definitive, conclusive answer that it was Gabby Petito that they found in the forest preserve in Wyoming. They're still doing some forensic analysis to get to those final determinations of what the cause and the manner of death is. But like you said, the coroner is ruling this a homicide, so you can expect that to play out in how this case is investigated, and obviously any prosecution that follows from that.
Kim, I don't know if the paper reported on this, but there was word that Petito, before she disappeared, had sent I believe a text message to her mother where she made a reference to her grandfather, but there were some red flags that went off to her mom. Can you explain a little bit about that exchange?
Yeah, the last communications that the family received were in late August. They didn't report her missing until September 11th. Brian Laundrie came home on September 1st without her. But those last communications they had with her were text messages where the family felt that she just, something sounded off. She was making references, like you said, to her grandfather, but things were sounding disjointed, kind of not like her. And so those final communications are ones that sounded just something was unusual, as the family has described it in other reports and through their attorney. So those are raising red flags. I mean, the one thing that we don't know at this point is if she sent those, if somebody else had their phone. We can't speculate at this point, but the family has said that the final messages were ones that definitely raised their suspicions because they weren't consistent with how
Right.
she'd previously communicated.
And I think one of the things that they talked about is this idea of this growing tension between the couple, that they could definitely sense it in some of these messages. Like any good reporter, you know, you do some background search or research on the victims and the individuals involved in the story. Anything new that we're learning about Brian Laundrie that maybe we didn't know before? Anything about his past, his background, anything that you can share?
Nothing like that has come up sort of in the scope of my reporting, but you know, this is one of the things that has made the case so interesting and unexpected, the way that it developed. You know, it starts out with this young woman who is reported missing, and they present with this very idyllic lifestyle. You know, they're showing their cross-country adventure. It's very romantic, exciting on Instagram and on YouTube. And then we start seeing this body cam footage that shows her very much in distress when they had a traffic stop. We later find out that there's a 911 report that shows that they had been arguing, and you know, police had interacted with them a few times on this trip, and you know, there were tensions that were very apparent, and that kind of pierces that narrative that contrasts with what they were showing on social media, and that's now leading to questions. We also heard from a park employee in another state who said that she saw Gabby Petito in distress and kind of advised her, maybe you don't want to stay in this relationship. She was the one person that we know of who's come forward and said, I flagged something, I clocked something as, you know, not right here, and I suggested maybe she get out of this situation.
Okay. So much more to learn. Okay.
Yeah, in part why there's so much attention on this case. Glad we got to talk with you. Kim Bell with the Washington Post. Thanks so much.
Thanks for having me.